The girl wiped the snowflakes off her face with a handkerchief, but accidentally removed the black spots she had purposely painted on her face. The prince immediately realized that the spots were fake. He questioned her, knowing her beauty, wondering why she had intentionally disguised herself to approach him. Little did he know, the girl's purpose in marrying into the royal family was to seek revenge on her legitimate sister. The girl's sister, the princess, was favored by the king, but suffered from a chronic cold condition, so she had to select a maid from the lower ranks to bear her child. There were rumors that women with delicate waists, round chests, and full hips were the best for bearing children. Among the many maids, the old woman chose the girl at once. Her figure was like the legendary body destined for childbirth, but the biggest drawback was that once a man touched her, he would be unable to stop. Fortunately, the girl was ugly, with large black spots on her face. The princess felt reassured and allowed her into the royal family to bear a child for the prince. What no one knew was that the black spots on the girl's face were part of a deliberate disguise, because in her past life, at this very moment, her beauty had provoked her sister's jealousy. She was cruelly disfigured, and eventually died from being tortured by many. Her sister once declared that she, a lowly maid, was not worthy of being the main wife, but in this life, she was determined to earn the prince's favor and take the princess's position. However, the prince had promised the princess that he would never take a concubine in this life, so the girl had no choice but to enter the royal family as a maid, with the understanding that once she bore a child, she would have to leave immediately. But when the prince saw the girl's black spots, he was shocked to discover that she had been deliberately disguising her appearance. He questioned her, knowing her beauty, why she had intentionally made herself ugly to approach him. The girl, however, said she didn't want to be a concubine. The prince was stunned and angrily scolded her, telling her not to forget her place. But the girl feigned a pitiful expression, saying her mother had won her father's favor with her beauty, only to be murdered by the madam and thrown into a common grave. As a maid, she knew the fate of concubines, but she didn't want to end up like her mother, so she begged the prince to spare her. The prince, seeing her helpless and lonely, took pity on her and agreed to let her stay in the mansion. The girl knew she had trapped the prince and used the slippery roads as an excuse to ask him to let her stay the night, with the condition that they sleep separately. The prince, upon hearing this, did not refuse her request. Little did he know, he had become a key pawn in her revenge. Meanwhile, the princess had heard the prince had not consummated with the girl, and thought the girl's ugliness was the reason the prince rejected her. She felt she had made the right decision, but when the girl came to offer tea, she froze in place. The girl was now beautiful, and there were no ugly black spots on her face. The princess immediately understood everything, and slapped the girl across the face, furious that she had deceived her and entered the royal household. She swore to disfigure the girl's face today. The girl, seeing this, deliberately splashed the scalding tea on the princess's hand. The princess, embarrassed and enraged, immediately ordered her to be dragged out for punishment. Little did she know, everything was under the girl's control. Her goal was to lure the prince over. Then, she deliberately angered the princess, so they would torture her. Just as the maid was about to strike, the prince suddenly appeared before them. The princess was horrified, fearing the prince would discover her cruel and heartless actions.